So here's the deal. I'm an immigrant. Yeah, one of those first world immigrants. And I've got this accent that, let's just say, voice recognition systems really struggle with. You know, the kind of accent that makes you question if you're speaking English or some secret code. If you've seen the Burniston Lift sketch, you'll totally get what I mean. Now, I usually handle all my banking needs online. It's quick, it's easy, and it saves me from awkward phone calls. But one day, I had an issue that needed addressing, so I had to pick up the phone and call my bank. And guess what? They were pushing this new voice recognition system like it was the next best thing since sliced bread. When I called, they asked me to enroll in this voice recognition program. I stopped laughing because honestly, who did they think they were kidding? I politely explained, listen, my accent doesn't exactly play nice with voice recognition. But here's the kicker. Their call center had been offshored to the Philippines. So, not only was my accent a problem for the fancy technology, but it was also a challenge for the poor representative on the other end of the line. Fast forward a month later, I call the bank again because, life happens, and they hit me with the news that voice recognition is now mandatory. I couldn't help but chuckle. What if it doesn't work? I asked. Oh, it always works, they confidently replied. Cue my laughter. I had to know how the enrollment process worked. Just follow the instructions, they said. But I pressed. Still, what if it fails? Their answer? It won't. So I complied. They transferred me to the voice recognition enrollment, and it failed spectacularly. I mean, it was like a slapstick comedy routine. I had to hang up and call back. When I recounted my failure to the next representative, they insisted on trying again. I thought, sure, let's go for round 2. And guess what? It failed again. Rinse and repeat, folks. After the third failure, I was on the brink of losing my sense of humor. Finally, I called back one last time and insisted on having my issue addressed without going through that ridiculous voice recognition process. But of course, they wanted me to follow their protocol. At this point, I shifted my tone slightly, not yelling, just a firm, authoritative change. No, I said, this has failed 3 times in a row. Look at your call records on this account. Either process my request or escalate this and put in a complaint. Now let me tell you, I knew that a complaint was a huge red flag for them. My wife used to work for the bank, so I had a little insider knowledge. The representative paused, probably weighing my words, and then passed me to a native English-speaking supervisor. You'd think that would solve everything, right? But nope. The supervisor struggled with my accent, too. I stayed perfectly pleasant, just explaining the 3 previous failures and that all I wanted was a simple action taken that couldn't be done online. And guess what? It worked. They processed my request without a hitch. No complaints needed. Fast forward 18 months later. I call the bank again, and to my surprise, they've added an option to their IVR system to bypass voice recognition. Now, I don't want to take credit for this change, but I did talk to some friends who work at the bank, and they mentioned that it was due to numerous complaints from customers like me who simply couldn't be understood by the system. It's funny how things work out, isn't it?